Hey everybody, Dave Womack here from BirdTricks, and today we're going to be going over how to unbox and put together and fully assemble our medium track pack. Now that is the one here to my right, your left. This is our small track pack, which we also have a video on if you need to learn how to put these things together. To begin, your track pack is going to come in a box just like this one. I will say when you're cutting this open, like with anything that could have fabric inside of it, just be careful and don't take your knife and just slice all the way down, or you could be doing some potential damage to the item inside. So we'll just carefully slide that like that. The first thing you'll notice is that we've taken the track pack and it's been wrapped in plastic. This just helps protect it against any moisture or potential rain if it happens to be sitting out in a rainstorm as you're waiting to get it picked up. So we'll begin by just taking everything out of there. These stainless steel panels are to protect your track pack from damage that your bird may cause to the actual track pack. And they're replaceable. So if they do get damaged, you're looking at just simply replacing these pieces instead of having to replace the entire pack. That makes me smile. Next, you're going to want to separate all the accessories from the pack itself. That includes the tray, your perch, and those will be things that we'll add in later. So that's these dishes. As we unfold this, we'll get rid of the cardboard. And we're ready to begin. With the track pack laid open in this display, we're simply going to match up the stainless steel panels to their Velcro counterparts. So down here, the small piece is going to Velcro on to that section there. The next section is where the stainless steel tray is actually going to attach. Moving up, we have the larger piece. Now this piece is, it has the male Velcro here. It attaches to this section, and you'll line up these pieces down here. Next, you want to take your side panels and figure out the correct orientation for those, and just simply matching up all the holes so that when it is assembled, you can see all the way through these holes for bowls, for perches, that type of thing. Now that you have all your stainless steel attachments attached, we're going to just start zipping this together. It's a little bit cumbersome in the beginning just because we're trying to line up those zippers, but it's much easier than our previous models. So again, starting from the bottom and just gently working our way around. This is really important. You don't want to force the zippers here. Zippers do get damaged over time. These are very heavy duty ones, so they should last a very, very long time, but it would be a shame to damage them during this first part. So just take your time. Now that we have the structure of the bottom part assembled, we can now go ahead and close up the rest of the track pack. Once you're at this point, you can decide to go ahead and roll this up and get it out of the way. It'll make the next steps a little bit easier. You'll notice too on this side, once we get to the back, there's a little orange bungee, and that just goes straight through like that to be able to hold that in place. And now we can address the same situation on the side, because we're going to need access to all of that to assemble the perches. And if you're noticing that your holes aren't totally perfectly aligned here, not to worry. As we get to the next steps, we will be aligning those holes up to install perches. Now, let's address what this front section is and how to best utilize it. For the purposes of just getting the structure of the bag together, and not terribly concerned about having it lined up perfectly until this point. So, as you go to put your bird away, we did this in a very strategic way where once your bird's inside, this panel goes on the inside, and there's a little bit of Velcro in there. It's hard to do from my angle, but hopefully that works. So that's going to give a little bit of security immediately for your birds. Next, these little, I call them boat grommets. I'm not sure if that's what they're actually called, but I just remember as a kid, these canvas covers on our boat would get latched on like that. That'll just add extra security, and obviously this would be zipped up as well. So once your bird's inside, that's the proper configuration to be able to keep it the most safe as possible. Now we're going to be assembling the perch, and I do want to point something out here. When we are unzipping this top panel, you'll notice that I'm stopping a little bit short of where it connects. If you happen to go too far and disconnect this point, it's probably going to be slightly frustrating to reassemble it. So do yourself a favor and get used to stopping about 1 inch or 2 before the end of the zipper, so you never have to be in a situation where you have to try to reassemble that. Now that I have all of my accessories taken out of the plastic, we're ready to continue on. You can do this in any order that you want. For the example of this, I'm going to start by the bottom tray because you don't want to be fighting around the perch. It's just my personal preference. Obviously, it doesn't make a huge difference. So you'll notice that there are some Velcro pieces that are included. These will go to the underside of the tray, but if you want a little tip on how to put them in here properly, go ahead and take your Velcro first. You're going to stick it to the inside bottom so that it is lined up perfectly for when you put the tray in. So there you can see it there. Once you have both of those pieces of Velcro secured to the opposing Velcro, then we're going to peel off the 3M label, exposing the sticky side of the Velcro now. Then you take your tray, you line it up in there as perfect as possible, and then you just press it down against that Velcro. And now that Velcro will always be lined up, and it'll make sure that your tray always stays in place. Then of course you'd put down your paper or paper towel, whichever, or newspaper, whatever you're using for the bottom, and your little tray gets placed on top of that. Just worth noting, there's these little feet here. Those are going to go down, and the purpose of that obviously is to create the space. If those are sticking up, then this tray is not going to do any good for you. Now we'll go ahead and move on to installing the perch. So there's a couple of things to take note of here. We want to make sure that there's a washer immediately on the end of the perch. I've got one down on this side too. The other washer goes on the outside, and then you have the nut. So this is a really clever moving perch system I'm really proud of that we created, and it allows you to be able to put the perch anywhere you want along this sliding track. So depending on the size of your bird, or the size of your bird's tail, you have the freedom to adjust this however you want. So just for now, I'll place it at the bottom. I'll take the washer, put it on the outside, and then we just gently tighten that down. Then we take the other washer, and we just tighten that down too. With any time you're using anything that's threaded, be really careful that if you feel like you're having to force the threads, you're doing what's called cross-threading it, which will damage those threads over time. So if it feels like it's not lining up perfectly, don't worry about it, just back it off a little bit until you'll feel it kind of click, and then you can screw it in the right direction. These just need to be finger tight, not super reefed down on. It's secure enough there, so we can move on to the bowls. Depending on how you've trained your bird to go into a track pack, or depending if you've trained your bird to go into a track pack, will help you decide where you want the bowl position to be. Some people like to have the bowl in this first hole here. You might find that it's more beneficial if you're trying to put your bird in to have that bowl placed in this other further back position so that your bird has to, or is immediately intrigued to go search for a treat in that dish, whether it's up high or down low. Personally, the down low option is a great place to start because, again, your bird's getting placed in there, looking straight into the dish, and getting reinforcement for going in right away. And it will never feel like the bird's being forced to go into this because we're using these bowls strategically to train them to want to go in. So for the purposes of this video, I'll go ahead and just place this bowl in the lower back position. Same things with the perch. We're going to start with a washer, have the other washer and nut on standby. That's going to go through from the inside. And I recognize this is going to be a little bit difficult to see, but hopefully it still makes plenty of sense. So now that little ring is in place there, which allows the bowl to just drop into position there. And then if you want the other one, just, I guess for continuity, I'll place it on the same spot, just on the other side. There you have it. Both dishes are installed back at the lower sections on the back side of the perch. And so that's it. So the final step is once you place your bird in, you close this up, attach the Velcro first. That'll buy you some time to be able to then close up the zippers while your bird's consuming its favorite treat from the dish. Again, being gentle on those zippers best you can, and then we finalize it with latching those down and making this nice and secure. At this point, you might be wondering what this elastic is for on the back, and I will show you. There's obviously lots of different options. We have a Goal Zero Torch 500, and it allows to have us give the birds a little extra light if needed, and it just holds it in there like that. So if you've got your bird in there and you feel like you're driving and it's super dark because of where you had to place him in the car, it's a great option to be able to add a little bit of illumination. can also plug your cell phone into this particular light and charge it. We're not affiliated with them, but I do like this product and we use it quite a bit. So the next thing is you've got your carrying handle up top. You have these MOLLE webbing compatible pockets. Now, MOLLE webbing is a system that was invented for the military, and so if you go on to Amazon or any of your other favorite stores and you type in MOLLE, that is actually going to open up a whole different array of things you can add to this. If you want to get a first aid kit, you can simply get one with the MOLLE webbing and it goes into all of those different areas there. And it's just a great way to be able to accessorize this without having to necessarily buy new products from us. Those are things that you have access to online. Might already be something that you have at home or in your car. And lastly, when you are closing up your bird, you just want to make sure that you're placing the cover underneath the handle, just like so, so that you can actually keep the front closed and still have access to that handle. Well, that's it for the medium track pack assembly. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these packs and get a lot of use out of them. If you have any questions about it, you can check out our website at birdtricks.com and you can select from multiple sizes. Also, we're constantly working on additional sizes, which will be available at our website, again, birdtricks.com.
Parrots are the third most popular pet in the entire world, yet the #1 most rehomed. If you're interested in joining our mission of saving parrots one person at a time, visit birdtricks.com to learn more about our parrot training courses, organic bird food, all-natural parrot toy line, and much, much more. When we know better, we do better. It's through you that we can help people offer only the best quality products to their parrots, along with the knowledge they need to live in harmony with their birds through permission-based training. Visit birdtricks.com today to learn more.